A couple of weeks ago, I posted a review of this Cooler Master Tempest GP27U. It is a 27-inch mini LED monitor with a 4K resolution, 160Hz refresh rate, very good results overall, fantastic HDR experience, and a price tag of only $800, which is a great price for these specs. But when this monitor launched, there were some issues that came up that received a lot of criticism, and it just seemed like the launch was a little bit rushed because they were aware of some of those issues and they still released it as it is. That being said, they have been working very hard ever since, and they already released a couple of firmware updates that address those issues and fix a lot of them. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what those issues were, what has Cooler Master done so far, and is this the ultimate HDR monitor like the specs suggest? So let's go. This video is brought to you by Corsair and their brand new Dominator Platinum RGB memory. These super fast DDR5 6000Hz memory kits are specifically made for Ryzen 7000 series CPUs. They feature a stylish aluminum heat spreader with DHX technology that keeps them nice and cool under load, offering a smooth and stable performance with a lot of room for overclocking. And they come with 12 customizable Capellix LEDs that you can control with their iCUE software and easily sync up with your other Corsair components. Check them out using the links in the description below. With this GP27U, Cooler Master basically managed to do what a lot of big monitor brands didn't. They delivered a monitor with a really impressive HDR experience for under $1,000. So this monitor uses a 27-inch 4K 160Hz IPS panel from AU Optronics, and it has a mini LED backlight across 576 zones. With a maximum brightness of around 1400 nits, it really lights up those highlights and bright areas in HDR content. The local dimming gives it an impressive contrast, and the color gamut it comes with offers a wide range of colors that this monitor can display. So it basically checks all the boxes needed for a really impressive HDR experience. But as I said before, there were a couple of issues, and the biggest ones were about the adaptive sync. So if you enabled adaptive sync, the screen would be limited to 144Hz instead of 160, which is not that big of a deal. But you also couldn't combine HDR and local dimming with adaptive sync, which can be quite a big deal. Now, I have to admit, I didn't really notice it originally because we were mostly testing with an RTX 4090, and with such a high-end graphics card, you are barely dropping under 144 FPS. It is more of an issue when you have anything from a mid-range GPU up to a 6900 XT or a 3090, when variable refresh rate is pretty much a requirement for that smooth 4K gaming. And Cooler Master released 2 firmware updates so far. So the big ones here are that now you can enable adaptive sync and HDR at the same time, that the monitor will go to 160Hz refresh rate with adaptive sync enabled, and that they added more flexible color adjustments in all picture modes. The last few points on that list are minor fixes for issues that were introduced with the first update that never really made it to public, but it is still very nice to see everything that they've done so far. Now, the option to have some more color adjustments in each picture mode is a nice little extra, and while I personally didn't think a 144Hz limit was such a big deal, as it is really hard to tell the difference between 144 and 160Hz, it is good that they fixed it, and I can confirm that VRR and 160Hz work completely fine together. But the really big one is that you can now combine VRR and HDR and local dimming, which should just fix the main complaint that some people had. And I have been spending the last few days looking at various games and using various GPUs, and so far it has been behaving perfectly, even when dropping frame rates to that 48 to 60 FPS mark where VRR is so important. And keep in mind, it is not just HDR games that benefit from this. This is one of the rare monitors that can have local dimming on in SDR content as well, that kind of fixes that subpar contrast that all IPS monitors come with. So you really want it on in SDR mode, and now you can combine it with adaptive sync as well. With all of the above fixed, the GP27U can easily be called the ultimate 27-inch HDR gaming monitor, and that's even without considering the fact that it will cost you $800 or 900 euros, which is way less than any other monitor with these specs. It is no wonder that they're selling out pretty quickly, because I couldn't find a single one in the US at the moment, and the few retailers that still have one in the EU have raised their price. Unfortunately, a firmware update cannot fix the issue with availability and prices, so they will have to figure that out another way. One very last thing. Now, this was not a video to criticize Cooler Master for not sorting this before the launch. A lot of high-end monitors push a big firmware update after launch, but it usually takes them much longer. And I know for a fact that Cooler Master monitor team is not that big, and they have been spending a lot of time on this. So I actually think that they fixed it very quickly and very efficiently. And I would say they definitely handled it way better than Samsung did with their Neo G9s, which is still a disaster. Anyway, that is it for today. If you want to know more about this monitor right here, please do check out my original review. I will leave a link in the description of this video. And if you want to make sure that you never miss my future uploads, do consider clicking that subscribe button. Bye guys, and see you in the next one.